In this next training, you'll be seeing Peng Joon. He's a very good friend of mine, a very well-known internet marketer and digital marketing expert who has been very successful in selling things online. And why do I call him success? Because very often, while most American speakers are coming to Malaysia and to Asia to teach, he is one of the rare breed. He's the one of very rare Malaysians who is constantly going to US to teach. So what I've done was I asked him to come over to our growth mastermind session where I got him to consult and to coach some of our students on how they can possibly bring their traditional business online. So enjoy this 1 hour video where he will be sharing with you his steps and his processes, and then he will end this entire session with a consultation with our traditional business owners. Enjoy the video.
And the reason why I called upon you was because yesterday with if you know recently the Malaysia government announcement, the stimulus package don't really favor business owners. And at this point of time, we are left to ourselves to really come up with new strategies to really get through this very difficult period of time. And I was thinking, who is the best to design deals online to create unlimited traffic, convert them, and then get them to buy things. And I remember the conversation we were having at Paradise Dynasty where you shared me how do you design deal offers. And this is the reason why I feel it's very important for me to have you on board to share your thoughts on, at this crucial period of time, right? How do traditional business get online to get customers to buy their traditional products? Online first, it might be something in between before people can actually come to the physical store for the physical experience.
Yes. Okay, great question. So I think that when it comes to the online world, there's really two main puzzles that a business owner has got to figure out and implement, especially during a time like this. And you know, like for me, I don't really watch TV series, but the one that I do watch, that I binge watch even now being here self-quarantine at home is Shark Tank. And I think that, you know, perhaps many of you might watch Shark Tank as well. I think it seems to be one of the many entrepreneurs' favorite reality TV shows. How many of you here watch Shark Tank? Just show of hands if you raise your hand if you watch Shark Tank. Anyone here? Okay, so for me, if you watch Shark Tank, where a lot of entrepreneurs come on the show and they pitch their business idea, in nearly every single episode, every one of them, the sharks would always ask these two questions, you know, and the two questions they would ask is always, question number one is, how much does it cost to acquire a customer? That's the first question they will always ask. And the second question they will always ask is, how much is an average customer worth to you? And this is something they will ask in every single episode. And many times when a business owner is just offline, that's when they really struggle with answering that question. They will say things like, well, you know, last month I spent about $7,000 in marketing and ads, but it's really hard to track what our returns are because we spend it on all these different channels, you know, newspaper, banners, magazines, and they struggle with answering that question. And when you take a look and see the entrepreneurs who can answer it well, it is always the people that has pivoted and is doing it online, because online makes it very, very easy to track these numbers. And I always tell my students, my community, that if you know the answer to these two questions online, this is really how you build, grow, and scale a profitable business online, because the numbers, the path to scaling is all math. Okay, so one of the things that I prepared for this call, John, is this framework that I utilize. Am I able to share my screen so that you guys can see it? I'm not sure if I've got. Oh wait, I do. Let me just share my screen right now, and I've got this slide deck in front of me, and I wanted to share with you a very simple sales process that I use for physical products, for digital products. And I would be able to help your community a lot better as well. If you guys can let me know in the chat, what type of business are you in? Are you are you selling? Are you selling physical products? Are you in F&B? Are you a real estate agent? Are you in network marketing? Are you selling coaching? Are you selling live events? Let me know in the chat so I know how to best serve you guys and answer your questions. But while you guys are doing that, let me know in the chat right now. Let me show you guys this framework, okay? So as I wait for your answers, so a very simple sales process in order to understand these two answers is I created this case study utilizing this book that I sell online, and I sell many physical products, including books. But this framework over here, this slide deck, really summarizes the two things that we'll be talking about today. You see, on the left-hand side, it is cost per acquisition. How much does it cost for us to acquire a customer? So if you take a look at traditional businesses, what do most business owners do to acquire a customer? They would advertise on radio, TV, newspaper, magazines, a referral program. These are all the traditional ways to acquire a customer, right? But in the online world, what is the method to acquire a customer? It would be Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Google. Now, on the left-hand side, first of all, this answers the first question that I asked just now. How much does it cost you to acquire a customer? So on the left-hand side, and I'll come to the numbers in the case studies in a second. Now, on the left-hand side, depending on the channel, okay, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, let's begin with the most common one, which is Facebook. On Facebook, whenever we run an ad, Facebook will tell us how much money we spent that day, and in return, how much money and sales did we get. Okay, so depending on how good or bad my ad is, depending on my targeting, my languaging, my video, my choice of words, my thumbnail, depending on all these different factors, each different ad would have a different cost associated to acquiring a customer. So let's say I want to sell this book and I run an ad. And my ad, I spent $100 on running ads today. And let's say I sell 5 books. Okay, so if I spend $100 and I got 5 sales, how much does it cost for me to acquire a customer? Simple math. How much is that? Spend $100, got 5 sales. What is my cost per acquisition? My cost per acquisition is $100 divided by 5. Therefore, it cost me $20 to acquire a customer. Right now, Facebook tells me this. If I run this ad on YouTube, YouTube tells me this. If I run this ad on Instagram ads tell me. If I run this on Google ads, Google tells me, right? So depending on how good or bad my ad is, if I understand basic tracking, I will know each ad, how much does it cost me to acquire a customer? Okay, so this is to start understanding how things work online. Okay, so the first thing to understand here before we proceed further is I would like you to notice the mindset of most business owners and entrepreneurs. Okay, from the chat here, I can see Yishan says physical products, Dex says accounting solution, Yenny Vaughn, F&B, Sam, reusable cups. Okay, great. So whatever business you're in, just think of it as the traditional way of thinking about marketing, sales, and ads. What is that? Most common thing business owners say is, this month, I'm going to set aside 10,000 ringgit on marketing and ads, right? But there needs to be a shift in that. It is because if for every $1 you spend on Facebook, YouTube, Google, Instagram, if you can get back $2 in return, how much money would you spend? You would try to spend how much? You would try to go all in and as much as possible, right? So my Facebook guy, my team who runs our ads for us, they don't come to me each month saying, Peng Joon, how much money should we spend on ads this month, right? They know that as long as they can spend $1 and get back $2 in return, they will just try to spend as much as they can. But in order for them to apply this mindset and this concept, now we need to understand number 2. What is question number 2 that I asked earlier? Question number 2 is, how much is an average customer worth? You need to know how much is the average customer worth to you. In every episode of Shark Tank, 100% they will ask that question, right? So going back to the slide deck, The second thing that you'll need to understand this is you need to have a sales process online. Now, whether you're in F&B, whether you're selling physical products, whether you're selling insurance, there's a sales process for that. Whether you're going to sell live event tickets, seminars, there's a sales process for that. Now, let me, with the limited time I have, let me just go through a simple sales process. Okay, this is a sales process known as a free plus shipping sales process. So how does this sales process work? Step number one. Okay, so let me just backtrack a little bit. Now, my team did a case study and compiled this slide deck for me. When we first launched this book, this was in March 2018 to April 2018. And on the top right-hand side, this is actually the most important number. It says average cart value. Now, what is average cart value? Average cart value means whenever a person goes through this sales process, on average, how much they're worth. So they're worth $43.20 every time somebody gets a copy of my book. Now, how do we derive this number? This is where the sales process comes in, right? So on the first step, 24.48% of people do this step. Now, what is this step? This step is really just putting in their name, their email, and their address. Now, how do I know it's 24.48%? I know it's 24.48% because if I go back one step, the system that I use online tells me that 38,000 people visited my page. 9,000 people did the next step, which is entering their name and email. Therefore, 24.48% of people did this step, right? So very straightforward. The system tells me this. There's no math involved. Then if you take a look at the sales process, what is the step after that? After that, the sales process that an audience will go through is, this is when they will take out their credit card and they would enter their credit card details to claim a copy of this book. Now, the angle of my book is free plus shipping, meaning my book is free. You just need to cover shipping. It is printed and shipped from the US. So if you live in the US, it's $7.95, but we also ship worldwide. $14.95 if you live in Singapore, if you live in South Africa, Nigeria, Johannesburg, anywhere in the world, it's $14.95. Now, 5.24% of people will do this step. How do I know it's 5.24%? Same thing here. The system tells me if I were to go back. How do I know it's 5.24%? It is because out of the 38,000 people that visited my page, 2,000 people bought. Therefore, it's 5.24%. Right? So all these numbers are just being told to me by the system. Okay. So there's no, I don't need to be a math whiz. The system tells me this. Now, on the right-hand side, notice where it says average cart value. Average cart value means how much is a customer worth. Now, prorated, because some people live in the US, some people ordering overseas, based on the percentage amount of people that buy from me in the US as well as overseas, the system tells me on this step so far, an average customer is worth $11.89. Okay. Now, let me just pause 1 second and really understand the distinction between a sales process online and a website. Now, many people right now, because they're panicking and they think they need to go online, and to them, going online means building a website. Oh, I need to build a website. Okay. Now, a sales process is not a website. A typical website is where you have the homepage, who we are, about us, contact us. Now, that is an obsolete model. Okay. That's a website is kind of like a glorified name card. That's what it is. Or a brochure. I don't know about you, but I have never bought something because somebody gave me a brochure. Okay. What you want is a sales process. Now, what is a sales process? Very different. Now, just let's pause 1 second and imagine that if I had a book and I sold this book the same way how most people would sell books. How do most people sell books? Most people would sell it either on a website or they list it on Amazon. And how much would a book sell for? Maybe a book would sell for 10 USD, 15 USD, 20 USD at top at most, right? But most of the time, it's like 15 is kind of pushing it, okay? But let's say 15 USD is the typical price point. Now imagine this, okay? And let's say, just for simplicity purposes, all $15 was pure profit. Let's not even take into account of cost of printing and shipping, okay? Let's say I sell this for $15 and all $15 was pure profit for simplicity purposes. So the first question I'd like you to ask yourself is, if this first ad here that cost me $18.86 to acquire a customer, it cost me $18.86 to acquire a customer, but a customer is worth $15. Would I be able to afford to continue running this ad? Would you continue running this ad? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat, right? Would you continue running this ad? Yes, if you continue running it. No, if you won't continue running it, right? The second ad, if it costs you $20.80 to acquire a customer, but a customer is worth $15, would you continue running the ad? Okay, looking in the chat. So, no, 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 no. Okay, great. Okay, now, good. Why is that the case? It is because we would be bleeding money, right? For every dollar we're spending, we would be bleeding money. But now, notice what happens. Because I have a sales process, what actually happens? The next thing on the form, I have this thing called an order bump. I have this thing that says, yes, upgrade my order right now, $37. Okay. Now, 25% of people would take up on this offer. Therefore, now it increases an average customer by a little bit more. After that, I have an upsell. So an upsell is, you guys have F&B or retail. It's just like going to McDonald's where the people are asked and trained to ask you, would you like to have fries with that? Would you like to have supersize it, right? Would you like to go large? So I have an audio book with 5 different bonuses. 22.47% of people will take on this upgrade. And the second upsell, which is a $197 product on how to utilize these concepts on social media. 5.73% of people take that offer. And finally, the last step is inside the members area, I have got a 90-minute training. And inside that 90-minute training where I say, congratulations for ordering your book. Depending on where you live, this might take 1 or 2 weeks for this thing to arrive. But right now, let's start your training right now. And in this video, I spoke for about close to maybe about 75 minutes. And I offered a $997 home study course. And 0.55% of people take me up on this offer. This was a step that I didn't do initially when I launched this book. But what I'm trying to get you to see is, so average cart value now is $48.67. Now, what does this number mean? This is the answer to my second question I asked you earlier, which is, how much is an average customer worth to you? In the online world, this is a crucial number to understand because I understand every time somebody goes through this sales process, this funnel, they're worth $48.67 to me. So that means that now, if I were to look at these Facebook ads, this ad here that cost me $18.86 to acquire a customer, but this customer on average is worth $48 to me. So that means for every $1 I spend, I would be getting $2 in return. For this ad over here that cost me $10.73 to acquire a customer is on average is worth $48.67. So that means for every $1 I spend, I'm getting about $4.80 in return on the front end. This doesn't include the fact that I'm still building an email database, the fact that if I give them great value and treat them right, they will buy my other products, the lifetime value, my upsells, they could be buying my future products, all of that, right? This is just the returns on the front end. So this first framework over here is to give you that big picture understanding of how do you build a good online business and scale it by understanding the right foundation, which is based upon these 2 things. How much does it cost to acquire a customer and how much is a customer worth? Now, before I move on to the next part and take questions from you guys. So here's what some people would tell me. They'll say, but Peng Joon, I am in F&B. I sell physical products. Okay, so looking at the markets that you guys are in, I sell accounting solutions, Dex says. I'm in products and services. I sell reusable cups in cafes, say Sam, right? So how do I utilize this? Okay, so the first thing to understand is this is not about selling books. This is not about being an author. Because some of you be thinking like, how do I apply this? This is utilizing the model, which is free plus shipping. Now, what is free plus shipping? Free plus shipping just means if you are in and selling accounting solution, you could utilize, I want you to think about what is a low ticket product that I can allow people to come in at very low minimal risk so that I just about break even. You see, when somebody buys this book at $7.95, I break even. I know what I mean. When somebody buys it at $14.95, some people say, well, Peng Joon, your shipping doesn't cost $14.95. That's where you're making your money. That's where they don't understand the business model, right? The truth is, when I take into account my cost of printing and shipping, and when I'm shipping it to like Africa, shipping fee alone can cost me 10 USD, okay? But I understand that that step is for me to break even, and where I make money is on the upsells. So you could be selling, I don't know, whatever market you're in, you could be selling makeup. So this could be a makeup brush that you source from China, where you give it for free to your audience, where they just cover shipping. And then you make your money from your upsells for that small percentage of people that upgrade. And you will be able to do this when you know your numbers. So ultimately, before we move on to the next step, here's one thing I'd like you guys to perhaps write it down, okay? It's basically this. It is the person who can pay most to acquire a customer wins, okay? If you can pay more to acquire a customer, more than your competitor, because a customer is worth more to you, that's when you will win. And you will be able, because think about it, right? If a person in my space, same market, same niche, selling an identical product as me, if they're selling this Me Too product, if they are selling this the same way how most people sell it, which is selling a product for $15, guess what? They can go to Facebook and tell Facebook, I will pay you $15 to acquire a customer. Well, I can go to Facebook and I can tell Facebook, I will pay $30 to acquire a customer. Whose ad do you think Facebook will run? Facebook will run my ad, right? Because Facebook doesn't care who is paying them. Facebook just wants to know who is the person that's willing to pay me most money. And you will be able to pay more when a customer is worth more to you. How can you make your customer worth more to you? By having a sales process and by understanding your numbers. Now, understand that this thing here is literally not theory, okay? I have utilized this for, and I know that all of you are in different markets. Let me just quickly show you one more thing, and then I think you guys will probably have some questions. So inside the platform that I use, and I'm going to be showing some free gifts that I have for you guys as well. So I have a lot of different sales processes and sales funnels online. But I've sold a lot of stuff, okay, and built many of these different platforms and products, physical and digital, that has individually made over $1 million US dollars for these small type of products that I give out for free, okay? So for example, and I'm doing this so that I can start getting more ideas. So sorry, I forgot your name. For example, Dax, who's selling accounting solution products and services. Okay, so let me show you this next example. If you have a product and service, okay, so to give you an idea, for those of you that's product and service market. So for me, I have a product and I have a service. Okay, I own a digital agency where we do services for clients, both high ticket and middle ticket. So for high ticket clients, I have a $41,000 offer where it's full-fledged agency model. We shoot your videos for the entire year, help you use it in your ads, your branding, all of that, okay? Now, in order to sell this $41,000 offer, it would be impossible for me to go on Facebook and sell a $41,000 done-for-you consulting/solution digital agency. Why? Because it's not for everyone, and people would say that I'm crazy. So in order to sell that, and pivot online, I created a thing to sell the thing that I actually want to sell. Okay, so let's take a look at another sales process. So in my hand over here, this is a very small, simple booklet called the Content Multiplier Formula. Now, this Content Multiplier Formula, same thing. It's a free plus shipping funnel, and this book's only $7.95, where people need to cover shipping. But same mindset, right? The $7.95 is not going to change my life. But what do I utilize it for? You see, my sales process for this sales process is super simple. All it is, really, it is a free book, upsell 1, upsell 2, order confirmation, right? 2 upgrades, order confirmation. Now, my second upgrade is actually for a $97 recurring. okay, which is actually the main thing I actually want to sell. So the main thing that I actually want to scale, it's highly scalable for me, is a $97 recurring per month, where I teach and show people that's in the subscription what's working on social media right now. But at the same time, I know that to get people into this service, into this product, is hard. It's a hard sell. So what do I do to sell this? I create the thing to sell the thing that I want to sell. So let me just show you some numbers so that you can see that this is not theory, okay? You go into the stats, content multiplier formula. So this stats over here, this is for this next funnel, content multiplier formula. And this is $1 million funnel. We've done well over $1 million on just the front end for this super simple book. But I want you to notice a few crucial numbers here, okay, for this next funnel. This next funnel over here, notice the average cart value is $88.96. Now, what does this mean? It means that for every free book that I give away where people just cover shipping, I am making $88. This is USD, right? How many of you can see that that's a pretty solid business model? If you could give away something for free and each customer is worth 88 USD to you, that's pretty solid, right? Now, in part of a sales process, now I've got a pretty lengthy sales process, but I want to walk you through the main stages, okay? The main stages is pretty much these first 3 steps. Okay? First step is they come on the page, they order the book. All my numbers are here. I can see that about 260,000 people visited, of which 41,000 people give me the name and email, of which 11,000 people bought the book. Now, this step here is not going to change my life. Why? Because I've got ad cost that I need to incur to acquire a customer to get this book, right? So $7.95 or $14.95, depending on where people are. Now, the system can also give me a breakdown. How many people ordered from the US? How many people ordered internationally? So I've got all these names over here, okay? All these numbers over here. Now, this next step, my second upsell, or rather my first upsell, is for the full product, $297, which is the online training, okay? But here's the magic, okay? The magic also is not in selling a $297 product, but rather in selling a recurring, okay? So I have a monthly plan as well as a yearly plan, okay? Now, my monthly plan is the main thing I actually want to sell, this subscription, okay? Now, this subscription, you can take a look at this. This is the main thing I want to sell. A $97 per month subscription, which I have got slightly over 1,000 people on this $97 per month plan. Now, this is where the real money is, because 1,100 people at 97 USD a month is a lot of money over time, over a year, over 3 years, over 5 years. Okay, so about 95% of people are on monthly, 5% of people are on a yearly. Now, this is what my sales process does. I'm utilizing a very simple process, okay? So what do I do here? Let me just share my screen. Let me stop sharing the screen right now. So in order to educate my audience on my service, for my $97 per month service, if I went to Facebook and I did it the same way how most people would do things, how most average marketers do things, they go on Facebook to sell the thing that they actually want to sell. That's how most people run their ad. And they say, their ad would say, hey everybody, my name is Peng Joon. Let me teach you how to run social media. It's $97 a month. And when you do that, and when you try to get these trial subscriptions, for sure, it will cost them more money, especially at the start, to lock users into that business. And that is why most business either need funding, they need VC, they need seed money, they need investors. Because for most business models, most businesses require capital to acquire a user. My model with a sales process online, the reason why I don't need investors or VC money or seed capital is because it doesn't cost me money to acquire a user. I make money from acquiring a user by creating and selling something that sells the thing that I actually want to sell. So because I want to get people on that $97 per month recurring, what do? I created the process in this very simple booklet, $7.95, low risk, affordable to the masses, right? So if people don't know me, $7, if they're semi-serious in online marketing, this will be nothing to them. So after they buy this book, in my sales process, what would it be? It would say, hey, this is Peng Joon here. I want to congratulate you for ordering this book. Now, what you will see is that this process is a 9-step process for those of you that want to automate and streamline social media. Now that you have learned this 9-step process, you really have two main options. You can now either go and develop and implement and build these resources yourself and hire the people, which is great. Or your second option is my team every single month, they prepare this resource for me. And for only $97 a month, I will send you these different resources, images, graphics, and ads that I personally use in social media, sent over to you that follows this process. And because 11% of people, a small percentage of people that take this will upgrade, that is how I'm locking people into my $97 recurring a month. And then after that, for the even smaller percentage, what do? I would ascend them into my agency, where I would say, in my email sequence, I would say, hey, this is not for everybody, but I know that for a small percentage of you who are business owners, CEOs, who just don't have time to implement this, some questions that I get from business owners who just don't have the time is there a way for me to work personally with your team and just get all these things done? Now, first of all, let me say this, okay? First of all, it is not cheap. It is expensive because it requires my team. It requires you flying out to my studio and getting all the assets done. It's by application only. It is $41,000, but this is how you can do it for those of you that is serious. And about, I'd say, less than 1% of people that buy this book will upgrade for that offer. So now, notice what I'm doing. I am creating a sales process, and even though I could be selling a $97 product per month, even though I could be selling a high-ticket $41,000 full-fledged agency service, I still have a sales process to sell the thing that I actually want to sell. And again, because all of you are in different markets, I don't want you to be thinking about this as books. It's not about books, even though I utilize a lot of books. It is just about thinking, how can I have this thing that I source from AliExpress, China, that I can give away to my audience for free, that genuinely helps them, that adds value to them, where I will not make money from it, where I will just break even, but make money because I continue building that relationship, because I now have upsells and offers where a small percentage of people will upgrade that will help them. And that's how you pivot online. Okay, so I know I'm trying to do my best to kind of compress that in. We've done it in about 35 minutes so far. So Jonathan or anyone really, any questions so far with regards to your sales process?
Yeah, Peng Joon, like to ask, right, based on that whole concept that you have, where you look in the whole cost of acquisition, you increase the average cut value, and then you do your funnel tweak. Back to, let's say, a very traditional business like the Xiao Long Bao we had, how will you implement this model into a very traditional business? Because we have guys who are in Xiao Long Bao, we have guys who are in Chendol, we have a owner of a steakhouse. How can they implement this concept at this period of time?
Great question, okay. And I think what amazed me was an ad that Xu Ying actually showed me, I think was yesterday or was it this morning? And Xu Ying showed me, she said, did you just see what T-Live did? It was amazing. They had these, they straight away pivoted into these delivery, homemade bubble tea that you can prepare from home. And I thought, this is amazing. I want to be able to order this, right? So same thing here. It could be Xiao Long Bao. It could be something. And now, so let's say if I was selling Xiao Long Bao, here's what I would do. I don't want to sell the product, because products and commodities is everywhere. I think right now what people need more than ever is, because they're stuck at home, they want an experience. So if let's say I was selling Xiao Long Bao, you know what I want to do? I want to show people how in a time like this, You could spend time with your loved ones, not just eating together because you're stuck with each other, but what if right now you can have an experience creating this xiao long bao together for the next, X amount of days? You know what we have done? We have got our chefs to show you behind the scenes to how we prepare these xiao long baos, so that we will give you the raw material, the wrapping thing, the meat, so that we don't just sell, because the truth is also maybe transporting xiao long bao is a hard thing. But now we give you in this box that's all arranged nicely, so that you, your family, your partner, your boyfriend, girlfriend, now that you're stuck at home, you'll be able to watch these training videos the same way how our professional chefs do it, with the same ingredients that we use, but right now you'll be able to do it together with us and still consume it fresh, but having it as an experience at the same time. Now, notice what happens immediately, right? It's that, if people always talk about this thing called the 5 love languages, right? And it's that different people love different things. So some people love words of affirmation, where you tell them, thank you so much for cooking for me, honey. I really appreciate you going out of the way, right? Some people are moved by gifts, right? 5 love language. Second one is they like receiving stuff, and it's not a materialistic thing. It is the fact that they feel that they were thought of when they received that gift. Okay. Number 3, it could be quality time. Quality time is because they spend time together, right? Doing something that they enjoy. Number 4 would be act of service. When people feel like, wow, you cooked for me, or you washed the dishes, you took out the trash. Okay. And the last one, what's the last one off the top of my head? You guys know the 5 love languages? Physical touch, right? Yeah, physical touch, right? Hugging and all the kind of stuff, holding hands, dating. So your angle, if let's say I sold xiao long bao, would be, what if this thing was all 5 of them? Because it's easy to buy somebody a gift. It's easy to order some food of Grab food. Anybody can do that. But what if it wasn't just a gift? It wasn't just an act of service. It wasn't just about spending quality time. It was all of that. Because now you'll be able to give your loved ones that gift, but also have amazing food together, but also turn it into a memorable experience, which you'll look back months, years from now, and have conversations about, hey, remember the time we were stuck with each other and we were creating xiao long baos together at home? I actually missed that, right? And now your audience will look at you not just from a commodity, a type of product, but something that was a huge part of their lives. That's what I would do. And by the way, I'm totally serious about that. If you had those xiao long baos right now, Elena, I would be all over it. I think you guys would be too as well, right?
Yeah, I'm seeing one of our guys here, David Lai. He's a magician. In fact, yesterday I saw him ordering Hai Di Lao at home. Right. So while people think that you can't go out there and have a hot pot, yep, Hai Di Lao is doing delivery to home. And Elena also owns Beauty in the Pot at Genting Highlands. One of our guys, Dex, actually have a question. Because at this point of time, he's looking to provide virtual CFO services to SMEs. A lot of small business owners don't know their numbers. And if you don't know your numbers, you can never manage, or you can't manage what you can't even measure, right? So he's thinking of coming up with virtual CFO services. And his question would be this: what are the top 3 to 5 factors that we must have when we are posting on social media to ensure that customers will take action? Because there's so much post right now. While everyone is at home, we are living in a time when everyone is also doing Facebook Live. So how do you ensure that people watch you and then people take action on what you sell?
Okay, great question. Okay, so there's really 2 things. So this first piece, which is a sales process, is half the piece. And the second piece that you want is audiences, right? Which is what you're asking right now. And how do you feed and fuel these audiences into the sales process? Now, to build up audiences, there are two main types of traffic, okay? And you got to think about these two types. There is search and there's interruption. Okay, let me explain these two. Now, for all of you, first of all, to understand traffic and where we can get our audiences next is to first think about where are they hanging out. Because it's not about getting traffic. The question people ask me is, oh, Peng, how to get more traffic? It's not about getting more traffic. It's about first thinking, where are my ideal audiences and potential customers hanging out? Where are they having these conversations? And how can I enter the conversation that they're already having? And they're having these conversations in either Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, somewhere, right? They're looking for it on a tutorial video on YouTube. They're searching for it on Google. It's happening somewhere. So you got to first ask yourself, begin with that question first. Okay, your potential customer, which platform are they hanging out in having these conversations? Okay, so for example, CFOs, business owners, few different places. Okay, number one could be LinkedIn, based on their post, their position. Number two, it could be based upon specific videos that they are searching for on YouTube. That's number two, right? What type of videos are CFOs watching? Okay, so maybe it would be like how to manage cash flow in the time of crisis. Okay, number three, it would be the Facebook groups they're in. Okay, just think about that for a second. What type of Facebook groups are they in? Is there a Facebook group that focuses on this particular topic? Okay, is there certain keywords that they're searching for on Google very consistently all the time? Okay, so traffic is really about, is it interruption or is it search? Okay, so let's talk about interruption first. So Facebook is interruption marketing. What is interruption? A person's on Facebook and they're doing this, right? They're scrolling. And then the only reason why they will stop is because something interrupts their pattern. It's a pattern interrupt. It's a hook. It is an image. It is a thumbnail that stops them in their tracks through your ad, through your content, that makes them stop to give you that initial 3 to 5 seconds of attention. That's why they stop. They're like, oh, what is this person saying? Right? Now, for example, beauty in the pot could be interruption marketing, right? Because it's mass, and that's when you can have something that's funny, that's engaging, that makes people stop so that they give you that initial first few seconds. On the other hand, let's say if it's selling CFO services or financial services, it will be targeting somebody that's watching a specific video about finance, right? So that could be a search. And if it's a search, that would be like YouTube and Google. So you probably notice it's very often that a person searches on Google, they get a YouTube video, right? So that means now thinking, can I create a YouTube video that's optimized for a specific search terminology or keyword or phrase, so that when people do this search on YouTube or Google, then they find my video and my content. And sometimes it could be a mixture of both. So that's what I do, right? So if you notice my stuff, I have interruption marketing, which is stuff that interrupts people on Facebook with a hook, with something that's funny, something that's educational. I'm always thinking about infotainment. In the world we're in, there's too much information, like you said. Everybody is doing a Facebook Live right now. So how can you go above and beyond the noise by adding and integrating information with entertainment, which is infotainment? How can you do that? And at the same time, can you play the long-term game? So if you notice, like my YouTube channel, very consistent, once every 2 days, I will put up a YouTube video, but the YouTube video is very specific to search. You see, YouTube is very different from Facebook. You post a video up on Facebook, if it doesn't get discovered or take off organically in the first 48 hours, it will be buried in the newsfeed forever and there will be zero traction. But YouTube, on the other hand, is very different. YouTube is like real estate that you can collect rent on forever, or in perpetuity, if it's optimized correctly with the right keywords that people are searching for. So if you can start thinking, what are people searching for on YouTube? And if you can create content that matches that keyword, that content that people are watching, that engage with, YouTube will in future show it to more people because to them, in their algorithm, in their eyes, it's good content that will serve to more people. So that's how you start getting more people to see your content. Okay, to summarize this step is think about where they're hanging out first, which platform, so that you can start thinking about content to enter the conversation that they're already having. Create the content based on whether it's search or interruption marketing, and go create the content based on that. Any other questions while I have some water?
Very good. Thank you so much, man. You have done so many ads. You have done so many contents. What do you think are the key factors that makes a content go viral on social media?
Here's the thing. I mean, even though it's, you know, people talk about like being viral and all, I think that trying to engineer something to be viral is very tough. And the what makes something viral is first to make it shareable. So what makes it viral is to first ask yourself, would I tag a friend or share this on my news feed if I saw this video? I think that's the first thing to ask, right? A lot of times when I see people run ads, they run their ads based on how attractive their product is, their service, their experience. They show customer testimonials. But the reason why that will never be viral is because people will never tag a friend to watch it, because it's either not interesting, it's not funny, it's not engaging. So before thinking about viral, because that's the end result, the first small baby step to ask is it shareable? Because shareability is what makes it viral. So the way you make it shareable is, would it increase someone's social status by sharing it? Because that's why people share stuff, right? They want to look good amongst their friends, to show their friends and their peers that, hey, look, I just discovered this thing. I think it's funny. Or they're tagging a friend. Why would they tag a friend? Because they feel, hey man, you are exactly this person, or you are in this situation right now and you need to hear this. Okay, so what makes a thing viral is if it's shareable. How can you make it so that people will want to share on your feeds and tag their friends?
Great, man. Great tips. So thank you so much, Peng Joon. I saw that very recently you interviewed Russell Brunson, and he came up with his new book, Traffic Secrets, right? If there will be like 3 main points from this book, what do you think it will be for the SME owners here?
Okay, first one is to focus on strategy, not tactics. Most of the time now, people are, when they're scared, they're always thinking about like, oh, what's the best tactic right now? What platform should I be in? And tactics will always change. Tactics are changing every 5 minutes, you know. But strategy, and the strategy that is evergreen, really, that will still be around 10 years from now, nobody knows what platform is going to be king 10 years from now, okay? But what will not change is that if you are good in communicating your ideas to the marketplace, if you are consistent in putting out value, whether it is through an image, whether it's through a video, whether it's through a post, that will not change, because the platform will come and go. But what will not change is if you are constantly building up an audience and giving them value, the audience will always be coming back to you. So number one, focus on building that relationship with your audience, because that's what traffic is. Traffic is just serving people by helping them through your content. And in today's world, what started off is really video. Today's world, and especially, it's sad, but especially in Asia, in Malaysia, you know, I understand that video is scary to a lot of Malaysians, but because that's the environment we were all brought up in, okay? And what is crazy is, you know, after doing all these events in all these different countries, like to me, the biggest mindset to shift for me, for Malaysians and Singaporeans, for me, is really how they look at video. You have no idea how many people come up to me saying, Peng Joon, I can do all these things, but I just don't want to do video. You know, I don't want to be on there. And if you really think about it, why is it that particularly Malaysians and Asians have this mindset? It is because of our school, our society, and the way we were brought up. Right? The way we were brought up is that standing out is a punishment in school. Right? It's like in school, if you did something wrong, you were asked to stand on the chair. How many of you here you've stand on a chair before? Show of hands if you've done that, right? Okay, quite half of you here is true. Okay, so I can't even tell you how many times I've stood on a chair because that was the punishment, right? So imagine if that was the mindset, like standing on a chair so that you stand out was the punishment, right? But the truth is, in business today, more than ever, to separate and differentiate, you have to stand out. And the best way to stand out on social media is through video, because that will straight away cut you away from the noise, which is because what 99% of the rest of the world's not doing. Okay, so it's kind of a mixture of everything, but that's really what the state of traffic is today.
All right, thank you so much, Peng. Any questions from the floor? We have 7 minutes left. Anyone? If no one, maybe one last question for me. Peng Joon, if there will be one innovation by one business which you saw that was pretty impressive in the recent weeks, which company would that be? Someone who has been able to really turn this crisis into a huge opportunity.
Well, in the online world right now, more than ever, consumption. Okay, so let's not talk about the industry specific stuff first. Okay, let's talk about like in general. In general, because right now people are all stuck at home. Consumption on this thing is an all-time high. Even Facebook publicly came out and said we might have trouble trying to sustain all the entire world's usage on Facebook right now. So what that means is, for any businesses that's able to pivot and bring their stuff online, but most importantly, start putting stuff out online through video, through webinars, through online seminars, through virtual workshops, or whatever it is, those businesses will be able to adjust, pivot, and win. So the ones that I have seen win, and the things that I have been personally doing myself, and some of you probably know, one of the things that I do is live events. And right now, live events is pretty much zero. I will be getting no revenue from that. And in fact, I have lost a lot of money in recent weeks because of the events I had to cancel last minute, even though we already have the cost and the expenses and everything taken care of. I was in Poland last week when the government shut down the country, so no flights in and out. And I was given 24 hours to leave the country. If not, I would be stuck in Poland right now. And we actually made the decision the night before the event was supposed to begin. So people have already flown in for that event in Poland. But I realized that if I did the event, first of all, coming from a social responsibility standpoint and all of that, either way, I was going to lose a lot of money. So long story short, I know that F&B, all these other businesses, including live events, we all affected, okay? Everyone in one way, shape or form. But the winners are, right now, better than ever, are my online virtual stuff. So virtual courses, virtual workshops, webinars, Facebook Lives, anything that's virtual that is based upon people's attention is better than ever. So whatever industry you're in, if you're able to take that experience online, those are the businesses who will crush it. So let's say if you have a physical brick and mortar, if you're a gym owner, now is not the time to sell gym memberships. Now's the time to pivot and sell home workout programs, right? Because that's what people want. We need to just understand what are people feeling and doing right now. Everyone's stuck at home. So can we bring that experience to people who are spending their time quarantined at home. And if you can do that, those will be the businesses to win. And even though in the last 1 week, my team and I, we are pivoting, and I told everyone that, look, we're not laying anybody off. I want to give them that security. But right now, the entire focus in my entire meeting also was how the next few months, next 1 year, I said, we're going to aim and pretend it's the worst of all cases, as though there's no events in the next 1.5 years. What are we going to do if that was the case? Okay. So we just doubled down more of our digital. And last week, our sales from digital was, I'd say, better than ever. So focus on online, because that's where the attention is.
All right. Thank you so much, Peng Joon. It's been really a huge pleasure having you speaking to us all. Everyone, please give Peng Joon your love. Before we go, if there's anything that you think SME owners need to learn from you at this point of time, any books?
I actually have some gifts prepared for them. Okay. So the funnel that I just showed you guys, for those of you who, if you want that funnel. So right now, a sales process online has really made things very, very simple, and I know that when you see a sales process online, one of the most common things is you'll say like, oh, but Peng Joon, I'm not a programmer, I'm not a designer, I'm not a coder. It looks really complicated. Okay. So understand that technology and platforms has made it really easy. So I want to share with you the platform that I use and how you can actually utilize the sales process that I use. Okay, so the process is, if I can just kind of show you how it looks like this. I can actually go into my system, and one thing that's really powerful is that there's this thing here that says share funnel. Okay. And I can actually take this funnel and give it to you and share it to you. And within one click, this entire funnel, which is basically all of the steps, the entire architecture and infrastructure of the sales process, would be inside your account. Okay, so this is something I could never have done before this platform even existed. And I actually got my team to put it down in a link for you, so you can take a picture of this if you want. But if you want to build a sales process, one of the things you can do first, this is step number 1. You can get a 14-day trial of this system. It's called ClickFunnels. And basically, when you put this in your browser, you'll be able to get a free 14-day trial to use this software. And that way, my team will also be able to be notified that you signed up, and we'll be able to send a lot of these different sales processes to you. But 2 different funnels that's very popular that I use, that is working really well right now, is that free plus shipping funnel that you saw just now. So all you need to do after that is just type in pengjoon.com/book-funnel, and you'll have the entire sales process that I talked about for my platform closing funnel sent into your account. And again, it's not about books, it's about utilizing free plus shipping. Another funnel that we didn't have time to talk about that's absolutely crushing it right now is the webinar funnel. So if you are somebody that wants to be able to sell stuff, present, and offer something at the end of a presentation, a webinar funnel is great for that. I've built up a lot of webinars online, and you can utilize that by just typing in pengjoon.com/webinar funnel, and my webinar funnel will be inside your account. And finally, one of the things that I am doing is, like I mentioned, videos is more powerful than ever. And the first of each month, I actually do a challenge. And right now, if you want to be able to create and generate videos, but do it in a way that's fun, that it's exciting, that's engaging, I have this challenge that's going to be starting in about 2 days from now. All you need to do is just go to videoschallenge.com, go check it out if you want to learn how to build an audience online. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. You can go ahead and take a picture of this in case you forget. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me here today.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us, man. I think this session is so crucial for everyone because the way we sell has now changed. In the past, when everyone can meet up face-to-face physically, there's proximity. The way you can sell is through relationship or through personality. But the current situation where everyone is staying at home because of social distancing, the way we sell has changed. You need a sales process, you need a sales system. And I highly encourage you guys, even though you're not a speaker, you're not a consultant, go and check out the webinar program, because you got to understand how is it that people think, how do you design offers, and then what makes people take action. So thank you so much, Peng Joon. So happy to have you having your Sunday together with us.
Thank you for having me. Yeah,
All
appreciate
right.
it.
Thank you.